Hey everybody, it is time for Q&A Wednesday, where I answer the questions that many of my clients and some of you might have when it comes to the world of health and fitness. So let's talk really quick today. I get a lot of people who just get so overwhelmed, and I totally get it. Like, I've been there. I remember just, first of all, my biggest issue in the beginning was I just didn't have enough education on what I should do to accomplish the things that I wanted to do. And a lot of the education that I had was incorrect. If you look at today's nutrition advice that our government gives us, it's so far off base. You can look over the history of like the food pyramid and where that came from, and it's just so off base. Although, some of the basic ideas are good, right? You want to eat less refined food, less processed food, really stick to the healthy whole foods that there are. But there's a lot more to it. So really, in order to keep you from getting overwhelmed, let's go over some tips that I have for you. Now, kind of think in terms of New Year's resolution. Like, I hate New Year's resolutions. I find them to be ridiculous, unrealistic. We all think that in 3 months we're gonna, undo every horrible habit that we've had over the years. So it doesn't work that way. We think, 3 months, and then I'll go right back to what I'm doing, but I'll keep all the benefits. It doesn't work that way. So, it's easy to get overwhelmed. I totally understand it. It's kind of the same issue I used to have walking into Ulta, and I'd be like, I don't even know where to start. So let me help you with that. I get a lot of it. And, one of the biggest issues I come upon are people that feel like they're big failures. And I understand that, if you've tried and you've failed and you've gone back and forth, instead of looking at those failures, you really need to look at them as learning experiences and find ways around that situation. And we'll talk about a little bit of that in a minute. So if you are one of those people that have like yo-yo dieted and you've tried and you've gained it back and you've just been a little bit of everywhere, this is the video for you. And again, if you have any ideas, if you're listening, and something has worked for you, we always appreciate other people's not necessarily opinions, because that's just what they are, but experiences, right? If you found something that works for you, it's okay to share that. That's why we're here. We're trying to do this as a collective and educate each other and do the right thing. I'm reading a really great book right now called Undoctored, and it talks about how we've all put our lives in the hands of our doctors, and they just don't have the nutritional background in order to help us accomplish the things that we need to do. Hi, Diana. When it comes to health and nutrition, because they don't have any nutrition education. Nutrition for doctors is an elective. And I've even really annoyingly recently listened to an interview with a diabetes specialist that basically said that diabetes has nothing to do with carbohydrates. And I went, okay, did we not have any biology education either? So again, I have complete respect for doctors. They do a great job. They save lives. I just think that, when it comes to medication, that's what they're taught to promote. And we really need to take our own health into our own hands and deal with it the right way, which is prevention and eating the right things. So let's talk a little bit about this. I have some great tips for you because I've come from a background where I was obese. Again, this isn't just from book education, or this is a lot of experience that I've had, things that have worked for me. So I get it. I get the obstacles. I understand what, people are dealing with, because I tried for years and years and years to lose weight and could not figure it out. So, thank you, Brooke. She says it's a great topic. We appreciate your feedback. So let's talk about my tip number 1, which is start small. Don't think you're going to change everything in a day. It's not going to happen, because even when you try, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get overwhelmed. And the first time that something gets hard, or you get stressed, or a major life event happens that you can't cope with, you're going to go right back to where you were, because it's the easiest way to do. As humans, we don't like change. And so it's really easy to fall back into old habits, especially if you didn't take long enough to get where you're trying to go. And that will be another tip in a second here. But start small. Pick 1 or 2 things to work on instead of trying to overhaul your entire life all at once, because it won't stick. Even when I work with competitors in the bodybuilding scene, if they don't have the basics down, it's going to be a huge struggle for them to actually do what it takes to get on stage, because although it's a short-term effort, they just don't understand what they're trying to accomplish. So it really comes down, in the beginning, usually what I tell people is, if you are doing nothing towards your health, the first main things you can do that are simple and inexpensive is to track your food and drink more water. That's it. Start there. And once you've done that for a couple of weeks, then start to introduce new habits and new activities to your life that really can help you get the direction that you're trying to go. But don't try to change everything at once, because any of us who have tried that knows it's just not going to stick. Number 2, you have to know it's going to be uncomfortable. It just is. Change is uncomfortable. Humans do not like change. It's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to be tough. I had a client yesterday ask me, I woke up feeling nauseated and dizzy and a little weird. I'm like, yeah, that's called sugar withdrawals. So again, there's going to be some physical and mental and emotional changes that you're going to have to deal with that are going to be really uncomfortable. So, when they talk about dedication is your ability to stick with it long after the mood has left you, that's what we're talking about. You're going to have to trust the process for a little while and just go forth with the knowledge that at some point you will get used to it, and you will. Been there. Not to say that I'm immune, because I still have days where I want to eat my feelings and I just want to have that effort moment, but I don't, because again, I have a little bit better coping skills at this point, not to mention the knowledge that I've gained over the last 10 years. So that makes a big difference. Number 3, please be patient. It didn't take you 3 weeks to put it on or to get to the point where you're at. It's not going to take you 3 weeks to take it back off. Now, fortunately, it's not going to hopefully take the full. So for me, it was like 3 decades worth of eating garbage, not exercising, not understanding how my body worked. Fortunately, it didn't take me 3 decades to take it back off. But again, you can't do that overnight. There's some major biological changes that have to happen within your body. And it's not just the quitting of the eating garbage and reducing your sugar intake. It's the continuing ability to not eat garbage and reduce your sugar intake. So there's not only do you have to reverse some habits, but you also have to reverse some damage and some addiction that your body's going to have to those sugars and some of the things that you've been feeding your body for a long time. So be patient. Yeah, I get it. We want things before we even put some effort into it. Unfortunately, that's today's kind of focus, because man, you can hit a button on your phone and you can have food delivered in like 2 seconds. So you guys remember the Jetsons? Yeah, that's kind of how it feels. Like all these things that the Jetsons had are kind of coming to pass, which is freaking me out. So again, the benefit of, I tell my clients that the longer it takes to get there, the better off you're going to be, because the longer you will stay there. Really difficult in a month or 2 to make enough habit changes and lifestyle changes that you'll get to your goal and then actually stay there, because it's not how quickly you get there, it's how long you stay there once you get there. And whatever you do to get there, you have to keep doing to stay there. So if it's something that you're not willing to do for the rest of your life, take for instance the whole keto diet. Not a fan. It's really difficult to stay on long term. Now, there's some instances where it's completely appropriate, but for the average person that's just trying to lose weight, most people can't stay on it long term. So there's absolutely no benefit getting to your goal on keto if you're going to go right back off and then do all the things that you were doing before. Or, if you regularly want to enjoy a drink with your friends or a piece of cake on a birthday. So again, you're going to have to make those decisions and what's worth it and what the trade-offs are going to be for that. And again, it has to be a lifestyle. It's not something that you can do in 2 seconds. So keep that in mind. Number 4, you have to find the right reason why. Your goals, your reasons why have to be bigger than your obstacles, because otherwise, again, you're going to have that moment of whether it's your friends kind of doing the peer pressure thing. Come on, have a drink with us. Sorry, somebody's trying to call me at the same time. So peer pressure from that, or, just a moment of, okay, I'm stressed out, and your first initial reaction is comfort food. You're going to have a bigger reason than that than to give in, right? And partially that really comes down to having better coping skills. It's not the problem itself, it's how we deal with the problem. We all have problems, guys. It don't get any easier. What the change is better coping skills. That's what it comes down to. So keep that in mind. So when the reason is big enough, the obstacles are not going to stop you. And you do have to focus on the right thing. Instead of focusing, I spent years and years and years focusing on weight loss. And when I finally changed from weight loss to feeling better and getting stronger, it was a totally different ballgame. Let's see. Yvonne says, every time I hear something I really like, I hit the like button. Of course, you can hit the like button all you want. That's why we do this. It's not just about me telling you what to do. This is about everybody sharing their ideas and the things that work for them. Because maybe something I do doesn't work for you, but maybe something that somebody else does, and you resonate with that. So that's an important thing. So back to what we're talking about, you got to focus on the right thing. So instead of focusing on weight loss, focus on fat loss, and that way the scale doesn't particularly bother you the same. Who cares if you lose 5 pounds? If it's muscle, you've kind of actually downgraded. But if it's fat, that's kind of the purpose. So sometimes I have to remind people, would you rather weigh less or would you rather be smaller? And for some reason, people have to think about that. I'm like, okay, I don't even understand why you have to think about that. I'd rather be smaller. So, think clothing size. That's a great way to kind of gauge whether or not you're getting where you want to go. Number 5, please, for the love of all that's good, don't compare yourself to other people. I don't understand that. I'm short. There is no way that I can compare myself to Angelina Jolie, who is a stick figure and can pay for whatever trainer she wants. We're not even the same body type, metabolism. How can you compare yourself? Stop it. You have to do what's best for you, not what's good for whoever, whatever you've read on, because if it's on the internet, it's true. Good Lord. Focus on feeling better, on doing better for yourself, on making yourself healthier so that you last longer and have a better quality of life versus, I just want to be skinny. Well, that's not attractive. So, I don't know, skinny is not cute. But don't compare yourself, because you are not anyone else. You are you. And really your goal should be to be the best you that you can possibly be. Let's leave that there. Number 6, you're going to have to remember that psychology is just as important as physiology. In other words, your ability to deal, your mental, emotional health is just as or more important as the physiology or the actual physical part of reaching your goal, right? I tell the people this all the time. I mention this all the time. So if you've listened to anything, you've probably heard me say this more than once. You have to fix your head to fix your body and not the other way around. Because if you really are so, feel so badly about yourself that you don't feel you deserve to get to that level, how are you going to get to that level? Let's put this another way. If you hate yourself, why would your body do the things you want it to do? What if you tell yourself on a daily basis, whether it's in your head, whether it's out loud, whether you whine and complain to your friend, if you're like, I hate myself, I don't like who I am, why would your body do anything you ask it to do? You have to fix yourself mentally and emotionally in order to allow your body to do what it's supposed to. Anybody who's ever used positive affirmations on a regular basis, and there's lots of science and books and things out there that kind of approach this idea, the whole what you think about, you bring about, well, it's totally true. The psychology of it is actually more important than the physical part of it. Your body responds to how you think, how you feel. Did you know that it is not metabolically possible to lose weight or burn fat when you are stressed out? It is not metabolically possible. Your body cannot do both things at the same time. So if you're always worried about what other people think, or your job's killing you, or all these crazy things that we deal with in a regular modern lifestyle, there's probably a reason why you're not getting where you're trying to go. You're not allowing your body that rest, that recovery, that rehabilitation that it needs in order to get to allow your body to get towards your goal. So keep that in mind. And if you are struggling to get your brain in the right place, you might have to seek some professional help when it comes to therapy. And don't be afraid of it. I see a therapist because there's times when I'm really struggling to deal with things in my life and I need that guidance, right? We all need coaches in different forms, and sometimes that's part of my coaching team or tool that I have to approach that and see if she can help me to get my head straight. It also doesn't help to get a little bit older and your hormones get a little wonky. So love yourself. Be really focused on making sure that you have good skills for stress management, and mental and emotional health is just as important as the physical. And that really, hopefully you realize how important that is. And like I said, life doesn't get any easier. I hear all the time, this is crazy and this is crazy. I'm like, honey, it's not going to get better. You just have to get better coping skills. That's the deal. And number 7, this is my last one for today. So if you guys have some good options, please post them below as well. Cause I'm always looking for great ideas, because it's not just me. I want to hear your experience. But number 7 is sleep trumps everything. If you are not getting enough sleep, you might as well not be going to the gym, because you're not giving your body what it needs anyway. So if you're consistently getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, and then you're hitting the gym for an hour, and then you're running kids around everywhere, and you're just not getting enough rest, you're not building muscle. Your body is not able to recover. You're not going to lose weight. Your body tends to be in this crazy stress mode. And like we just talked about, you can't burn fat if you're stressed out. It just isn't metabolically possible. So you're going to have to find ways to get better sleep. Now, if you're struggling with that, there's a couple of different things you can do. There's a really great book by Ariana Huffington, and I can't remember, it's The Sleep something. Really great book, and it's specifically what it talks about is the things that you can do to hack your sleep and get enough sleep. I actually found that because I am on bioidentical replacement hormone therapy, just adding the hormones that I was missing at the moment really helped me in order to increase. I went for several years only getting about 5.5 hours of sleep and couldn't figure out why I was so miserable. Now I know. There might be some things that you have to do to get some professional help, see a doctor, see a sleep specialist. But try some things on your own first. Take the electronics out of your room. Stop watching TV early enough that you don't have that blue light hitting your eyes. Don't eat, an hour, half an hour before bed. Your body cannot digest and sleep at the same time. Again, you're asking your body to do too many things at the same time that it isn't ready for. So there's things that you can try to do. And then of course, if you still struggle, get some professional help. I'm hoping that you can find a way to do that without utilizing pharmaceuticals, because there's so many side effects to those. Not only that, but you guys, all of these prescription medications can mess up your microbiome, which of course is now this huge science that is being approached and researched now, which of course is your immune system and a lot of other things for your health. So, I think one thing that everybody needs to be doing at this point is question everything. Don't just because you read it on the internet, or just because your doctor told you that everybody takes a statin when they have high blood pressure. Question everything. Do some research. Read about it. There's usually some natural options that have to do with nutrition and exercise that can actually accomplish those things even better than the pharmaceuticals. They just don't push them because that doesn't make anybody money, right? So I'm not saying that you shouldn't take the pharmaceuticals and medication. In a lot of instances, they are life-saving. What you need to do is to really make sure that you are doing the best for you that you can possibly do in addition to that, so that things are working the way that they should. Okay, Yvonne says, what was the name of the book you mentioned at the beginning? Doctor something. Okay, so the book in the beginning that I mentioned is called Undoctored. I don't have it on hand with me right this moment, so I can't tell you who it's by, but I can post it below. I tend to read 4 or 5 books at the same time, which I'm doing now. Eat to Beat Disease. I'm reading Undoctored. I'm almost done with that. I just finished The Metabolic Approach to Cancer, which I find super fascinating. No, I don't have cancer, but I've been searching for a while for options to approach nutrition with cancer, just because I've been in some instances where it would have been helpful. So yeah, I'm reading all the time because there's a lot of great information and science, actually backed by data this time, that's coming out that teaches us a lot more than the basic stuff that we learned in school that really was based on biased data. So let's see, what's the best place to learn about counting macros and things like that? That's kind of a hard one because a lot of websites are a little bit biased on what they do. So you really are going to have to start paying attention to, there's a really good Dr. Jason Fung is on YouTube. He has a lot of videos you can watch. Really super smart. Talks a lot about diabetes, what causes it, and how to fix it. And it's not just the garbage that everybody spouts. It's actual good research and good data. He also talks a lot about intermittent fasting. So if you really want to approach some of those ideas, I'm not saying that any of them is wrong or right. They're just not appropriate for everybody. I think you have to know what it can do and if it fits your situation before you go into it, versus we've all tried that stupid, I need to go on a diet, I'm going to eat 1,200 calories, and then you're miserable and unhappy, and then you binge. And then again, you gotta really pay attention to what the truth is, what works for you. Here's the other thing. Please do not take advice from somebody that you would not switch places with. Fascinating stuff. I get all the time, well, my sister said that blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, and does your sister look and feel healthy? Well, no. Then why would you take advice from somebody who is not? Same thing with, no offense to other trainers that don't look like trainers. If you don't take your own advice, how can you dispense advice to other people when you're obviously not doing it yourself? So again, make sure that you are looking at the right situation, the right things. I just find that a little bit fascinating that, a dietitian should also be taking her own advice. Working on that. Here in about April of 2021, I should hopefully be a registered dietitian with my master's degree. Pretty excited about that. So if you have any great ideas, please, you make sure that you comment below. You can also message me directly if you have a question. Facebook Messenger, I do respond. Make sure that you're going to the right Facebook Messenger. I'm finding a few times that people are messaging old sites that I don't use. I do not use the Melissa Fillmore Personal Trainer Facebook page anymore. I use the Fillmore Fitness page predominantly. So if you're messaging through that old one, I'm not getting them. But if you can go through the one here for the personal one. I respond all the time. Because I want to answer your questions and you guys give me my best ideas. I want to talk about things that are pertinent and apply to the majority of the people. So have an incredible summer, you guys. It has actually been wonderful. You'd be proud of me. Totally keeping up with my homework. Pretty proud of that. Along with working full time at the same time and still trying to entertain my children who are bored. So have an incredible week, you guys. This weekend, there will not be Meals with Melissa. We will be in Lake Oswego, Oregon, which is basically Portland, for the Oregon Open with the NPC. You've got four girls, 3 bikini and 1 figure. So super excited to be there. If you are in the area and you want to join us, please do. It's a lot of fun. It's amazing to see what these gals can accomplish. And then next week, we'll have to see how next week works. I'm going to be in Pittsburgh working with my girl. So I'll give you more details later. But have an incredible night, you guys. And that's it. See you later.